joined by my co-host Ken 100, and of course some wonderful guests today. We got a special guest, OX Frisk. We got Billy, Charlie, Witters, all with, we were just talking about this beforehand, amazing setups. Be sure to give everyone on this panel a follow. You can catch this video live on X currently right now. Feel free to chat in there. We can kind of see it. If you want to have your comment on the screen and make sure we see it, we're also live on the Ninja Alerts YouTube. You can also go over there and chat over there. So on this show, we talk about things that are happening in the Bitcoin Ordinals space, and of course, we banter around it. Today, two of our main topics is possibly the largest Bitcoin inscription ever. And as you saw by the title, the main icebreaker, main title today is Casey Rodimer had his own art taken and inscribed on Bitcoin Ordinals. We'll talk about exactly what happened and what he said, of course, in a few minutes. And of course, this show is brought to you by Ninja Alerts. Ninja Alerts is still doing their top 1,000 allow list. So if you miss the top 300, you have not completely missed your chance whatsoever. You still have time to get on that top 1,000. Our man Billy up here got in the top, Billy, 300 in 24 hours or something? What was that?
Dude, real quick.
Dude, I tried really hard. I think I got to top 12. Yeah,
what?
Pretty nuts.
That's wild.
I just incentivized the community with some black uncommons. It's really found an edge.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man. But with all that being said, before we dive into the topic, I just gotta ask, what we always ask every single week is what's up, guys? Not everybody at once.
Man, it's been a go ahead, Charlie. Sorry.
I mean, Bitcoin's up. Everything's up right now. It's really exciting. I think I said this last time, but Al, those of us who are in here were like, oh, it's time to put your bull pants back on, and it hasn't filtered out into the normie world yet. So we're just sitting here looking out and saying, okay, it's time to be maybe a little more aggressive, a little bit more forward with the types of assets, Bitcoin, obviously, that we're looking at acquiring. So yeah, I'm just excited.
One thing you can't do is let the not so far experience of trauma prevent you from taking risks and actually getting the most out of the bull market. I think there's a lot of people still licking their wounds from the FTX collapse, and people maybe have money stuck in BlockFi and stuff like that. Maybe Gemini Earn or something. They were all in stable coins waiting to buy the bottom that never came, but yeah, it's definitely time to heat back up. It's been a busy week. I mean, we had the Ordibots 3D kind of sellout, Magic Eden breaking, PSBT sniping stuff this morning. That was pretty exciting, but yeah, just staying on the grind, creating, and just another week in Ordinals.
Billy, darling, you look sun-kissed.
Dude, I'm getting blown out right here.
I mean, it's like a filter. I love it. You're doing it right. Absolutely.
He's in a dream sequence.
Dude, it's so cloudy in Seattle. The sun will just come blazing through, and this room will just heat up to 100 degrees. It's really hard to color correct any kind of footage or anything like that.
Wait, you said 100 degrees right now?
No, can't, dude. I'm pretty sarcastic.
Okay.
It's like 45 or 50 out right now. I need that hoodie you got on.
Oh yeah, this is comfortable. This is super comfortable. It's gotten cold out here, bro. On the East Coast, it got real cold.
You moved your setup to Alaska or what?
I should. Yeah, it just got real cold, so I gotta feel comfortable, It's the banter show.
Absolutely, man. All right, well, let's rip the Band-Aid off real quick. We'll go ahead and pull it up. Wow, that is small. Let's largen that a little bit so everybody can see it. So this is Casey's post officially on the ArtNet collection. I'm not going to read his entire thread, but I'll kind of show off parts of it. So basically, he just clarified that the images on ArtNet collection are his, but the collection is not. And he said he doesn't mind. He says, I release everything I make under CC0 license, and everything is free to do whatever they like with it. Some things are explicitly licensed CC0, for example, my code on GitHub, but basically he's just saying it's okay. And I think I don't know if he said this directly or they talked about it on the show the other day, but basically he's just not a big fan of I don't want to misquote him. Not copyright, but there's another word for it. This is the art specifically that somebody inscribed. This is Casey's art.
Oh, this is his art?
Yeah, well, so that's the thing is basically somebody, I want to say front ran him, but he apparently doesn't care. Basically front ran him at his own art and sold it, and it did have sales. I don't have it pulled up on another tab right now. If somebody wants to pull that up on there, and actually forgot to do that. But yeah, so it's just an interesting thing because it's like, you know, anybody on this panel could have easily inscribed Casey's work, and he was clearly okay with it. It's kind of like that would have been a super easy DJing move, you know, going back to our not financial advice shows on like trading and stuff. But I don't know. The whole thing is very interesting. If you're not familiar, Casey is the founder of Ordinals. If you're watching this and maybe you're just not quite familiar with the Ordinal space, but I want to start off with Frisk. Like, what do you think about this, man?
It's an interesting take. Oh, sorry. We get some feedback. There we go.
Yeah, we're good.
Cool, perfect. It's definitely interesting. I mean, you know, when you have someone who created this technology and they're also doing their own sort of art, and then you have someone being able to like take it and make it like not necessarily their own, but being able to be the person responsible for uploading it. I mean, you guys would be more knowledgeable about this than I would, but that kind of takes the essence of Ordinals and puts it in like the perfect most analogy that you could, where there is no like direct source of where it is that you are going to be directly taking your stuff from. But at the end of the day, the ownership aspect and the immutable aspect of what it is that people create will exist forever. I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but I guess in the sense, when you have someone who I guess is really against these ideas of like IP infringement or I guess copyright. I know copyright isn't the right term, maybe trademarked more so. It's a really interesting idea. I'm a little surprised that the creator didn't. Sorry, you said what's his name again? Chris?
Yeah. My name's Chris. Casey is the
Casey Rudamore.
By the way, we did get some feedback on Twitter that it was a free mint. Okay, so that's, you know, they didn't even make money off of it, so that's even more interesting. They very easily probably could have.
Yeah, bro, nobody's making money in Ordinals, bro.
Okay.
Let's just get right to it. Let's get to the banter.
Please, bro.
Nobody's making money, bro. Everything is free. Come on, what's going on over there?
Lord, Ken, I mentioned my OMB for 0.09, and it is currently worth, I think the floor is like 0.5 or something, 0.4 or something. I don't even remember. So yes, they are making money. You just bought the wrong fucking thing.
Oh, got him. Did you see Nick's video? Play that? It's freaking amazing. It's a masterpiece. You guys want to play it?
Yeah.
Seen it?
Yeah, we're all gonna have to shut up though, so the feedback doesn't come in.
How long is it? I want to make sure it's not like ridiculously. I mean, it's not super long, but let me try to find it real quick. It's on. The reason I brought this up is because it's on OMB, which is Witters does hold, and that's what she was just talking about.
Oh, that's really quality stuff, man. Pull it up.
Oh yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, we got to watch this together. And yeah, all right. So here it is. The sound should play. Whoops. Let me know if for some reason you don't hear it.
Number one, the PFP on OMB. Yeah, dude, it's like, what the fuck is that? It's literally just a bunch of scribbles. They're the face of Bitcoin at this point, is what I would call them. What the fuck is that? It's literally just a bunch of scribbles. What the fuck is that?
I don't recognize it.
What the fuck is that?
I don't recognize it.
What the fuck is that?
I don't recognize it.
What the fuck is that?
Fucking OMB.
What the fuck is that? 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 It's literally just a bunch of scribbles.
This card goes.
What the fuck is that?
Fucking OMB.
Literally just a bunch of scribbles.
I don't recognize it.
All right, that's enough, Chris.
I mean, OMB, like most of the mints were 0.09. You know, it went up to around 0.35. You know, there were a couple 1 BTC sales, and then it dipped all the way down to like, yeah, I want to say almost like 0.1-ish. It's crazy to see the floor holding above 0.5, and it's probably just going to go higher. I mean, the BRC20 kind of mempool overheating has kind of cooled off. You know, we've seen the mempool clear from 200 plus sats per VByte down to about 30. Maybe we'll never go below 10 ever again. It probably will. But yeah, it seems like that kind of rotation has gone into rare sats. We saw the floor of uncommons double, kind of going into some of these OG collections. Femojis has a drop coming, upcoming. We've seen that floor, you know, go up 300%. But yeah, the volume and demand is definitely there, but the supply is not there. I think that kind of squeeze there, you just couldn't inscribe a lot of collections. People kind of had to put things on the back burner, kind of focus on what you could inscribe. So yeah, it's just kind of one of those healthy rotations, and it's pretty cool to see.
Leonidas in the comments on Twitter said Nick remains undefeated. And then Nidio was saying, where can I get this song? It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that song is pretty dope.
How do you feel
I'll
about the
make
video
that,
as
yeah.
a holder?
How do I feel as a holder of OMB?
Yeah, just like in response to Nick's video.
I feel like Nick is so far removed. Like he's never been a good NFT trader, so I couldn't imagine him.
Oh, I love your takes.
onto
He has the hottest takes ever. Like you can ask her about anything. It's like immediate, like scorching take.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I mean, I'm glad. I'm honestly glad that he had that take just in general, because a lot, I would imagine, his following has no idea about ordinals or being able. I think that the Nifty is good at that, just like bringing light to whatever's happening in crypto in general. But where they miss hard is just their ability to trade or be good traders, other than easy, right? So like, just like basing that opinion on ordinals, he wouldn't understand it because he's not in the ecosystem. So I'm completely confident. As long as Nick fuds, that means price go up for me, because
Yeah.
I think everybody has that take.
I mean, he owned it. He reposted it. It's all good fun. I mean, you're absolutely right, though, Witters. Like the S&P 500 beats 90% of traders. You know, actively managed funds consistently lose to indexes that you just do nothing for years, and you just outperform people spending all day, every day. You know, set it and forget it. Stay humble, stack sats. I mean, if you're doing too much, like you literally grind the entire bear market so you don't have to do anything during the bull market. I'm about to literally just like close my Twitter and just, you know, paint in my garage for the next 2 years.
Hey, look,
Oh, that sounds great.
I feel you, Billy. I mean, like, this is the perennial cycle, right? You can grind 24/7 for years, and you can hit a cycle hot and you can nail it. But to like then, you know, or you could just turn your brain off and DCA Bitcoin. This is why everybody in the all the hardcore Bitcoiners like are typically uncreative, is because they've learned this time and time again. But I'll just point out, like, you know, I would like, you know, the NFT traders of last cycle were very cool. They were very hot and very successful. But those of us who've been in the game for many cycles understand that the metas which dominated 2 or 3 years ago do not apply going into each iterative cycle. And I think we can see this too. Now the established have become the establishment. It is the time for new blood, fresh blood. If we do believe that this asset class will 100, will 1000x, then certainly there's more value to be discovered in stuff that has yet to even be created than stuff that is already that's like legacy. So I'm not as bullish on legacy IP as I am new IP. OMB is the hottest new IP.
I feel like as the co-host of the show, I have to clarify that we love the Nifty. Or I personally do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I will.
I do love those
All
guys.
right.
Nick does it.
Yeah, we do.
Take on Ordinals. He, I think recently was basically he's not a fan of rare Satoshis either, which I know probably hurts Billy's heart a little bit. I want to move on to our other big topic and actually have like a specific question for Billy on this topic. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. So the Eloc was on the Ordinal show yesterday, actually. Had this time-lapse inscription, 5 seconds, high quality, 1.1 megabytes, I believe. Yeah, 1.1 megabytes. And it's supposed to be the largest inscription on an Ordinal to date. There's a lot of things around this that I would like to ask Billy or just the panel in general. I do have one particular question, though. So I'm still kind of understanding, like, I guess the basics of stuff like this. And it looks like with 1 megabyte, he got around 50 sats per VByte. I saw in the comments, Billy, that you said that would cost around 5,000. But if that was the case, then wouldn't it be like closer to like $20,000? Or how does that math work on assuming that this costs like $5,000?
Yeah, maybe to pull up our little handy inscription calculator and take a look. Let me just type it in real quick.
I forgot you had that.
Would you like to? You want to share screen?
It should just take a quick little second here. Yeah, no, that checks out. Like 1.1 megabytes, 50 sats per VByte. Yeah, so basically, it's the largest kind of HD video that's been inscribed on Bitcoin for sure. It's using a method that people kind of dropped in June, basically where you're creating 3 chunks and then parsing it together in one file. But yeah, like Metablocks, for example, is 6.2 megabytes. That's an image file. Like with images, you can't kind of break it into chunks because it doesn't have any runtime. But with audio and video, that's what you would do. It's almost like you're inscribing like an edit, like cut 1, cut 2, cut 3, and then you're like merging those together. Like with Metablocks, that is literally like taking it into Photoshop, creating a giant grid, inscribing all those pieces, and then kind of stitching them back together with code. It's a super powerful method. It's still pretty expensive. $5,000 for 5 seconds. I think when fees go back down to 2 seconds, I think we're going to see a lot more of this. Would love to see Eloc kind of put out just kind of like a GitHub or maybe someone else can build a tool where it's like drag and drop your video and then you can inscribe the chunks and kind of see what that would cost.
We just had Rough Star on last week with Ordinals Bot. They probably don't do it for videos, at least not to my knowledge, but they do the drag and drop for inscriptions. And hey, are you familiar with Ordinals Bot? Not Ordibots, but Ordinals Bot.
Me?
It was like yeah. You are.
No,
but
I am officially an investor in
Oh,
Ordinals Bot.
okay.
Big
Like, me, come on, I know everything.
Who, me?
big fan of their team. I was fortunate enough to have dinner and drinks with their entire team in Amsterdam. We had a blast. We drank some nice wine, and we just talked about the future of Ordinals. It was a lot of fun. Super bullish on their team. That's another cool example of like they're so spread out. I don't know when their all hands is because they're all on different time zones and they still make it work. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, I'm actually working with them on my new collection. It's a kind of recursive generative art collection. Won't talk about it too much, but basically it's an interactive experience where people will kind of discover what the best like outputs are based on the inputs. We might do something special with the sat point that just got merged, but basically Ordinals Bot is kind of making that happen because they have all this I don't know how much I can talk about, but they're bringing tools that are going to help empower the creators, and you'll be able to kind of spin up marketplaces, and they have a bunch of APIs. It's pretty cool. But yeah, hopefully get some good participation from the community. Going to make it super low cost. Like the numbers I think are around like maybe $5-10. So not exactly free, but pretty close to it. Just kind of want to include everyone, have some fun, get back into the art side of things and not get too crazy with the mint price. But essentially there's 44 million different inputs because you can just take any inscription ID, basically paste it in and generate some art. And if it looks good, you can inscribe it on demand and just kind of go in for that kind of fun, interactive experience. Not too dissimilar to Bitcoin Faces. I don't know. I think Witters, you inscribed a bunch of those.
I sure did, and I mean, well, shout out to Bless. I inscribed all in one word. Bless is a bozo, and then it gave me
Wait, what?
a Bitcoin face. Like I got creative with it. Like y'all out here doing Satoshi and like Nakamoto, like Rodimer. No, I went straight for the throat with my Bitcoin faces. So,
Who she loves and who she hates.
but Billy, you did say something that was very interesting. That as soon as Sats per VByte goes down, that you would do X, Y, and Z. What if that never happens?
Yeah, I mean, this is looking like the new norm here. Like, I see a lot of people. Like, let's take Elok for example. He didn't shutter at 50 sats per VByte. He just got it done. They put it on chain. That's a massive achievement, and it kind of shows everyone outside the space like, oh wow, they're doing like HD videos on Bitcoin on Ordinals. I didn't think that was possible. It bugs me when people use kind of outdated data and they don't keep an open mind. They just they're using spreadsheets from February and applying it to December. I mean, the world is moving so fast. There's like new AI advancements every week. To use like data from February is kind of silly.
Wait, so you saying they're putting like HD video on Bitcoin now?
Yeah, so
Did I
that's
hear that correctly?
Yeah, so that's Elok's time lapse. It's a 5-second video. It's technically an HTML file with JavaScript that is basically parsing 3 inscriptions together, possible through recursion. They did something clever by putting all the inscriptions, just reinscribing the 3 pieces, and then the final on the same Satoshi. Basically, what Xulo and his team did, which is a really cool way if you're not planning on dispersing those inscriptions to kind of keep it all in one little package. We're starting to see these kind of methods and mechanisms. I don't know if they're going to become like standards, but it's a pretty cool way to see it. I think, Chris, are you driving here?
What's that? What do you mean?
Are you screen sharing?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm driving.
Yeah. Well, maybe I can
What you mean?
share my screen here. Because it's cool when you actually go into the it.
Into the preview? Like this? This is slightly different.
Here, I'm going to share.
Yeah.
See if I can share here and not lose the audience. Sorry,
I'll pull it up when.
All right. Do we see here? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we see.
You can see my screen. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, for some reason, Ordinals.com has this giant search icon. Would love to see that get replicated.
Casey did a whole icon PR merge, so
Yeah.
Oh no!
As you can see here, there's been some executive decisions to use some emojis. This one is for uncommon. This one is for reinscription, and this one is for cursed. And they're pretty firm on that. So yeah, I'm gonna pull up. I like using ord.io just because I think Zach is an absolute front end monster and has some great design. But this kind of gives you a snapshot of what's going on here. You have the recursive modules here. So these are the 3 inscriptions that make up the video file. And then you have the parent inscription, which I think is Eloc's lapse. So maybe they're going to do more of these time lapses. But yeah, if you click into these different modules, you have to inscribe them in a certain way so they can be parsed together. You can't just inscribe an MP4 and then merge them together. So it's pretty clever, but there's this pretty handy tool. I'll enlarge my screen here. You can just hit this to kind of see the code behind here. And this kind of shows you the HTML. It's very, and the JavaScript is in here as well. It's very digestible. You can see, you know, there's these 3 chunks here. So if you copy this inscription, it'll take you to this down here. And when you do reinscription, you're going to have cursed inscriptions here. So that's cool because when the Jubilee happens, no, you can't make cursed anymore. So that's going to be cool. But yeah, that kind of gives you a snapshot of what's going in here. It's a JavaScript blob. It's bringing in 3 pieces and then playing this format video MP4.
So you said the Jubilee? Was it Christian or what?
Yes.
It does borrow its etymology or nomenclature from the Jewish Jubilee every 70-something years.
Yeah, Charlie, if you want to go for the Jubilee, I'm going to type in...
Yeah, I'll explain this to like the layperson audience. So you're familiar with the cursed inscriptions, right? What is a cursed inscription? Well, the working definition is that it is an inscription that the client that Casey and Raph maintain. It is an inscription that is not recognized or included in the kind of normal set of inscriptions. And so when it's identified, those inscriptions are given a negative number to say we will someday give those numbers a positive number and include them in the order. So the Jubilee is this event which we have to coordinate and all agree on, or Casey just says it happens. And those inscriptions are given positive numbers and they're inserted into the set. There's 200,000 something cursed inscriptions. So whenever the Jubilee happens, the mechanics of why those inscriptions were not recognized or are cursed will be considered valid overnight. And those inscriptions will be given numbers. And so if we're on inscription number 42 million something, then we're going to add those 200,000. And so we'll immediately jump from 42 million to 42,200,000 something. And then the specific techniques which made those inscriptions cursed will going forward be recognized. And so the Jubilee is kind of the result of us keeping the inscription numbering ordering. It's one of the things that results from us deciding to keep the numbering of inscriptions stable is the term. So
basically, cursed inscriptions are flying on Magic Eden because people are realizing they're going to be super scarce once the Jubilee happens, which is not a religious thing, Ken.
Yeah, you almost got me, bro. Last time I heard that,
you could probably still pray on them, pray that you get them.
Okay, I'll pray for that for Christmas. Maybe Santa will get me a Jubilee for Christmas.
Yeah, and the Jubilee was supposed to happen in about 12 to 13 days. But as of last night, Casey said he would push it back further. So that is now probably going to happen in something like 22 days. It's probably the most important event in Ordinals that nobody really knows or understands. And my opinion is that it has very, very implications for the protocol based upon what we consider to be an inscription and versus what we consider not to be an inscription. And the details of that are very technical and in the weeds. But I would encourage everyone to pay attention to anything you see regarding the topic of the Jubilee.
Dude, Charlie's got like noties set up for the GitHub. He is all over it. It's unreal.
I spent an hour and a half a day reading the GitHub, and I'm not a developer. It's my job to kind of keep tabs on the ecosystem, and that's what I do.
You got any updates from Luxor? Speaking of keeping tabs on the industry.
Well, this is not an Ordinals thing, but today there was in the world of Bitcoin mining, there was a new pool that was launched by Jack Dorsey, the guy who invented Twitter, and then Luke Dash Jr., who is one of the longest and most famous, what's called like maintainers of the Bitcoin Core client repo. So this is very interesting. It was one of the most prominent. The pool is set up a certain way. And so if you see me or any Luxor people's Twitter today, it'll be probably more mining related. Lots of memes and perhaps some technical stuff around a concept called Stratum V2 that a lot of people, that's a very fun thing to talk about. So, yeah.
Boo, mining's lame. Start sat hunting for the real yields. Let's go.
How's that going? I know you did like you were searching like major exchanges and like basically, moving Bitcoin back and forth. Did you find some jewels in that?
It's going really well, man. It's hard for me to kind of so DZ is going to start charging for his script next month. They put out a bold claim that with their tool you can make 100% APY. That's insane. I mean, if you're in finance, that's literally that's insane. It sounds like, with US Terra, you can make 20% APY. And that was like enticing enough to attract billions and billions and billions of dollars. Basically, I think there's a window where this is going to be the people treating it like a business, like let's say Robert Clark with Ordinals Market, where they're basically it's a service. They're finding the sats and they're putting them on the market. You have all these entities kind of racing to inscribe the first uncommon collection, like 5K, 10K, and there's demand. Like everything I inscribe now is pretty much on rare sats that I find, and it's a lot of fun. I think that demand is going to be there for a long time, because if you think about it, when people inscribe on an uncommon, that takes an uncommon out of the market. I saw a post from BitGod. He was reposting someone who put like the max supplies and the market caps for rare sats. And
I saw that too, and it was fascinating just to see that like just a very small percentage of all that is currently mined, even with people that are like looking for something like that. It's wild. But I mean, at the same time, some of it is at like 11%, but the other part is, it's getting up there. So there's rare, right? There's uncommon, of course, common, and then like what we deem with importance, right? The like block nines, the pizzas, the, like finding your own, and that's going to go back to like
Koala.
the koala.
Oh,
Yellow? Wait, what was that? What was
sorry, my dog. I'm sorry.
What's her name?
Her name's Koala.
Name's
Sorry, I didn't mean that like I
Koala?
normally do.
You're
Sorry.
like, you're not a
Koala?
dog. You're actually a koala.
Yeah, my dog's name is Koala.
I love that. That's so cute. But like just going back to like what you can like the specific movements that are participating in these attributes and their marketing and their emphasis on importance is really going to play a huge role. I don't know if it'll convert to, I guess, like a Bitcoin maxi viewpoint, but for me, I value those things. I can't tell you why I value those things because I'm doing something honestly, but yeah, I value those things.
It's great. I wanted to move on to the next section real quick, just because we haven't got to it yet with our guest Frisk. I want to introduce him by playing his video that he made. I really liked it, but I'm a little biased, and you'll see why in a second. Also, respect as a content creator, you kept it exactly 1 minute. I like that. You know, it's always hard to condense something exactly to a time that you want. But yeah, let's meet Frisk before let's meet him on video before we meet him here.
What if I told you that you aren't too late to Bitcoin Ordinals?
Whoops.
With volume exceeding even the ETH NFT space,
You good, Chris? What's going on, bro?
right
Oh,
now,
is it not playing?
Trevor Owens.
Whoops. Sorry, playing. Yeah, I'm good. What's up? All right, yeah,
Just
yeah,
chilling
yeah.
over there.
This is why it's called banter, because we can make these mistakes. Yeah, I thought I was sharing. What the heck? Here, I thought I played it. I guess I got taken down. Here, try number 2.
What if I told you that you aren't too late to Bitcoin Ordinals? With volume exceeding even the ETH NFT space, having exposure to Bitcoin and Ordinals has never been more of a must. And for those of you waiting to jump in, the time is right now. Trevor Owens, managing partner of the BTC Frontier Fund and host of the Ordinals Show, is launching Ninja Alerts, an analytics platform and Ordinals portfolio tracker that is now dropping their own collection of iconic PFPs. They have already taken social media by storm with their Ninja Pizza video challenge and are continually running spaces with their vibrant profile pictures. If an attention economy is key, then these guys are the kings by pulling in hundreds of listeners on spaces every single day and being on the front line for those advocating for Ordinals. So, how to get involved? Best place to start is to check out ninjaalerts.com and make an account. You can use it to check out all of your favorite ETH and Ordinals collections. Plus, who knows? Maybe it's not too late to secure a whitelist spot for the Ninja Alerts Ordinals drop. In the meantime, be sure to check out their Twitter for more updates and follow me for all the latest alpha.
Woo! Did that get you a spot? Did you get your sign-ups off of that?
You know what's funny? I never get used to seeing myself talk on camera. Will never ever get used to it. So I actually already had a spot before making the video, funny enough.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I made a little thing with my brother, just a little short film. I can send it to you maybe later. Maybe you hadn't seen it before, but I got to work with.
You had a pizza video?
I did. Yeah, I did. I made a pizza video. Yeah, it was.
Oh,
it was
we
really
gotta
fun.
watch that. We gotta watch that,
so
bro.
Cringe. It's so cringe. You're gonna.
I
find
want
it.
to see it.
Winners,
That's
are
the
you
point. It had to be cringe.
All right. Okay. I'll find it and I'll DM it to you. But or if you scroll back, I think it's back in like July. It's a while ago. I did it like way back. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to make, and I got to work with Boozy on making a custom. It was a ton of fun. Like I've been a big fan of what Ninja Alerts has done, and I don't understand a lot of like the talk that comes with inscriptions and rare sat hunting and that sort of thing. But I like trading NFTs. I understand the NFT side of things and the attention side of it. And so it was really easy for me to look at a project like what Ninja Alerts has going on and go, okay, there's steam there, there's interest there. How do I get involved? How do I learn more about it? And as someone who knows how to make videos, I'd say fairly well, I've been an editor for a long time. It just felt right to make something like this. And so I hit up Trevor. I was like, yo, I want to make a video for you guys. Send me as much info as you can. He sent me some links. I did some reading, and that came next. That was last week, 2 weeks ago, maybe. And I made my ninja video like a while ago, and that was a ton of fun, honestly. A bunch of people that I know were doing it too. Like, it's funny, we were just talking about Nifty. I've worked with Nifty for over a year now, maybe like a year and a half. I do a daily show with them, actually, with Easy and a few other people. Not on Nifty. I know that, and we can go back to that topic at any point, because Witters, I love you so much, and I love hearing everything. Witters has been in Nifty for a minute too. Like, you've been there for a long time, so she knows all the people there. You still come to our show, which is great. That's why I always love hearing your takes. But yeah, like there was a time where I would see just pizza videos all over the timeline, and it was really dope. It was a really smart strategy. Like how simple of a task it is to get whitelist by just putting on a ninja costume and eating a slice of pizza, and then just creating an account. And it was a really simple thing. I think I saw Trevor tweet about it once. He's like, everyone's always begging me for whitelist. Everyone's always begging me for allow list. All you have to do is go to this site and do a few tasks. And I was like, damn. And people are that lazy to do it. So yeah, I loved the aspect of it, because at the end of the day, like maybe I don't understand a lot of like the technical side of ordinals, but the attention and the interest is there. And I would be really dumb not to fade it. And I'm happy to talk more about that. But yeah, that's kind of what how this all came to be.
I have a question for you, Frisk. So what kind of ordinal exposure do you currently have outside of the ninjas?
Very little, actually. Unfortunately, I I still hold a good. This doesn't count as ordinals technically. I still hold a bag of OXBT. Back from when that happened. I actually hold Doge Punks. I like Raph. I think Raph is cool. I know he just dropped Ordi bots, but I like Doge Punks. Ordinal Maxi Biz is just too far out of my price range right now. That's just something that I just can't jump into. I feel crazy FOMO for it though, and I don't think that Nick is wrong when he says that like, Ordinal Maxi Biz is kind of like this premier project of ordinals. I think that it's the one that a lot of people like go towards when they think about ordinals. It's Ordinal Maxi Biz.
Oh no, I thought it was Ninja Alerts, bro.
I mean,
I don't know what show you thought this was.
Here's the thing. That's even that's what makes me so excited is that once Ninjas is like actually trading in live, because right now the amount of attention and like PFP exposure that it already has without even being trading yet is so bullish. Like it's so insanely bullish to have people like rocking the badge, rocking the PFP, and you're still at pre-mint. That is like I've been talking about it on the show for the past few days. I'm like, there is no way that this doesn't go extremely well from a trading standpoint. And whether that's the focus or not, like I think it's something that's always really important to keep in mind. I am a big fan of the ninjas. I loved working with Boozy on the art. That was such a cool experience. It was a ton of fun, and I think it's really exciting to be able to like have that like experience, and you can form a community around that easily. Like I've seen you on the YouTube. I see what you do. You guys do this show twice a week, I think. If I'm not mistaken. I like the lives. Trevor's always on Spaces.
Yes.
That is like attention economy is I said in the video, like if attention economy is key, then these guys are the kings. It's because it's true. Like it's everywhere. And it's such an iconic image. Like you look at it, you get to look at it and go, okay, yeah, I recognize that's Ninja. And that's what a lot of like people look for. Bitcoin Frogs is another collection I really enjoy for that reason. Like they have this iconic look to them where you can recognize and go, yep, I know that's a frog. Same with punks, even D-Gods, for example. Like Bitcoin D-Gods are another one that has had a bit of a run-up recently. They're iconic. And the iconic part of a lot of these, like the art styles that go along with this is really interesting. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Ken or anyone, isn't Ninja Alerts the first ordinal to be 1,000 by 1,000 pixels on chain? I don't know if that's...
Yes, it's the first a lot of things.
You know what? I would actually love to hear you guys say more about it, because I know that I can't explain everything in 60 seconds like in that video, but please, like, tell me whatever I'm missing about Ninja Alerts that I don't even already know, even as someone who's involved.
As soon as it goes live, I'm dumping my shit. That's all I know. I just got so bearish.
I'm so bullish.
Look,
yes.
Ordinal shards sub 10K was 1,000 by 1,000 pixels. So definitely, no. I think there are some really cool technical things about it that I'm excited about. Frisk, that you touched on, like the size actually is pretty much infinite. There's going to be is this public? Like the sub menu where you can like pop up and change certain things. Man, I think that's public. There's
yeah, Trevor tweeted about it.
Okay, yeah. Super rad, like animatable, very cool. Yeah, I saw opportunity. I saw people kind of fading, like honestly, what would the space be without Trevor? Not to like inflate his head, but like I feel like he was kind of, people were fading like, oh, well, you know who else is a VC? Kevin Rose, and look what he did with Moonbirds. Boo, thumbs down. I was like, this looks like opportunity here, and that's when I grinded the whitelist.
That's not even like a for real comparison. Like that.
I know, but that's
apples to
like,
oranges.
Correct. But people are gonna,
People be crazy.
But yeah, I guess my point with all that was like, we've seen the Taproot Wizards kind of string us along for so long, jump through hoops.
I made a video for them too. Yeah.
As soon as like the pizza video stuff, I was like, I'm not doing it. I refuse. Trevor, I love you, but I'm not doing it. And then, when I saw people kind of like, I don't know, fading it a little bit, that's when I was like, okay, I'm all in. I'm all in on this. I hope to get some on secondary too, because I like the one I got.
Yeah, people are like, you getting a hat too, right?
Dude, I'm getting it all, man. I told you, I'm all in. It's all or nothing. Like, why would you do something if you're not going to do it all the way? like people are like, oh, what's your Bitcoin allocation? Is it high? Is it above 3%? It's like, how about 90%? Is that cool? Is that tight? Like, why would you, if you believe in something, why would you diversify and hedge? Like, I'm all about that zero hedge. But no, for real, people listening, seriously, risk. I mean, you need a risk department. Don't get too cavalier. Be safe, cover yourself, know where you're vulnerable, and risk management is the key if we are entering this next bull cycle. We can't hear you, Charlie.
Oh, I haven't said anything. I fixed my mic, I think.
Okay.
There we go. No, do your due diligence, be cautious. You can never go wrong being a boring ass old school Bitcoiner. You won't be sad that you just only ever bought Bitcoin. You'll outperform everybody around you in real life in normie land by multiples, and you'll be happy. But if that's not enough, get involved in the culture and buy you some ninjas. I'll shill ninjas. I don't own one. But I think it's super cool. I was telling Trevor, like, since when he released, or he and the team, I guess, whoever, I forget who was involved on this, released the color theory paper on the kind of color theory of profile pictures. I thought that was one of the coolest things I'd read. I maybe other people have done this, but I was not familiar with another analogy historically in NFTs, which is this is a profile pic collection which is designed from the get-go to optimize for X or Twitter. And here's the rationale. We've done this scientifically. So I really like that. I thought that was so freaking cool. The design white paper. I think this is one of the coolest things I've read. So maybe other people have done this, but I'm not aware. This is the first time I'd ever seen something like this. I love that.
Yeah, you can tell there's a lot of thought and TLC gone into it, 100%.
And I know that he plans on doing the SAT endpoint as well. I know you were talking about that, but the SAT endpoint particularly as a mechanism to like add some dynamism to the PFPs. I think that's super cool. I'm bullish on like what I call like big projects, prominent projects, utilizing novel description techniques. I think that's, if you want a meta, if a project is the first to utilize a technique, either at scale or just the first ever, that's typically good and like very indicative of whether that's an attractive project to own or speculate on. I don't like to speculate. I just like to buy because I enjoy the people.
Charlie, you're so diplomatic. I'm kind of curious, what do you own?
I own?
Yeah, like what
Dude, I own everything except for ninjas. I'll put it that way.
Oh, yeah. Really? Okay.
Yeah. But I don't. I just try not to shill very much at all. I try to be a neutral party. I think of myself as more like an analyst. But I own most everything.
Wow. I just got super bullish. Wow. I was expecting like, maybe this one and that one. I thought that one was cool. So all of them.
The only one I'll shill is a good friend of mine. She lives next door. She's Cypher's partner, Zero. She has the Ico Desho collection. Huge fan of that. That's a very interesting kind of anime community. Less on the speculative side and more of the kind of custom boutique. Each one is made for one person, and so
that's super interesting, Charlie, because that's how I view most ordinals, as like a luxury boutique item that does not need mass adoption, does not need XYZ. It's value where you find it. And then, like if there is more people that also value that asset like you do, then like price go up. So that's like one of the bigger things, and like how we were touching on which sats are the one, I guess, like holy grails or whatever. But I do want, so how many ninjas are there?
There's going to be 1,500 total ninjas.
Okay, so there's 1,500 ninjas. There's like a little over 2,000 OMBs. How many Bitcoin frogs?
10K.
10K Bitcoin.
10K. Okay.
Plus the naked frogs.
Plus the naked frogs. That's a good
Send notes.
clarification. So you have all these. These are completely novel. There is there's nowhere that exists other than on Bitcoin, right? Then you have BTC gods, which are just like, I mean, they didn't even use recursion. Like it's just like completely out. They just wanted
Whoa,
to
whoa,
jump.
whoa! Calm down here. What are you talking about?
I see where this is going.
I'm gonna fight you back.
Go on.
I do not own a Bitcoin DGOD. I do think it's really cool to overpay for things. But no, getting them down like 10 pixels by 10 pixels to fit all 535 in one block. That's pretty historic.
It is, and I'm not trying to negate that. I'm just trying to give
I like it.
The people that use the tools that were available some props, right? So and so for that reason, I don't really associate the value that BTC DGONS has at the current conjecture. Even with the recent, news and announcement, also, I think that it's just bearish if somebody's asking for someone to be the president or the CEO of that. That just seems like bearish. It's like, hey, I'll just tell you right now, I can't do it. And that's one thing, but doing that on a public forum is probably not the best idea. But yeah, and it's a copy, right? So you're going to change the background. I'm just bearish on that in general, but I'd love to hear your feedback, Billy.
No, I mean, I think it's a fair take. I mean, I feel like the NFT people have belabored all the DGODS material over the past 48 hours. I mean, I'm kind of over it. Was there something specific that Frank announced for Ordinal specific stuff, or is this all other chain stuff?
To my understanding, it was he needed someone to oversee BTC stuff. I'm not sure.
What he needs is that general OG dude to just buy one and floor price go up to 2x. That's what he needed.
I know one thing he did talk about was that he was very, very optimistic in saying that I forget the exact quote, but that Bitcoin particularly was the most fertile ground for new projects. Just kind of looking across the landscape of the cross-chain NFT ecosystems, and just saying Bitcoin is the most attractive. We say it all the time, but it's like, okay, there may be specific advantages you can have on other blockchains. They're very sophisticated ecosystems, but like with Bitcoin, you can bet on it forever. You can inscribe something today and not even come back to it for years. I actually like to make this point. There's a lot of like sub 1K or sub 10K initial inscriptions, which have yet to really fully release or drop the full collection. And I think that speaks to the patience that exists native to Bitcoin, where a lot of people in these other ecosystems may like mint an NFT and then like 30 days later that you've done the full cycle of promote, price go up, floor, sell, round trip, everything. But in Bitcoin, you have like tons of projects which are now 10 months old and nobody even knows about yet because they haven't actually done the part 2. Like one of my favorite examples is Forgotten Runes. Disclosure, we helped execute the part 2 of the Forgotten Runes, but there's 10 of them that are sub 10K, which are these parent inscriptions. And we used the kind of these 10 wizards to bring into existence the remaining 666 in a very interesting special way. I'll let them talk about it when they're ready to like go full public, but that is probably not going to happen in 2023. That's a 2024 collection that's going to be a top tier premier one, and also exhibits and demonstrates some very interesting technical under the hood mechanics. So like I look at that and I say like DGods, right? There's nothing particularly fancy about the base inscriptions, and in fact they are lower quality in terms of just raw like compressed versions of themselves, but they are a landmark collection in the story of ordinals, because if we go back and we think about those first 2 months this past year, you had the Taproot Wizard, which was like the big notable event, and then the second really big one was DGods, before it was really popular, hard committing to moving to Bitcoin, and then doing it all in one block. So we helped produce that specific custom bespoke block for the whole collection, which is like pretty interesting. And so because I've heard Frank say, I've talked to myself about this, but like it's also very indicative that that collection has stayed above its floor price today. I think it may have dipped below the mint price a bit, but like the floor price is above mint. That's kind of an achievement these days for the like legacy established IP. And so I don't own DGod, but I think it's very compelling because they're one of the few like IPs still standing in the ecosystem and like still going strong. So we'll see. We'll have to see what the latest 48-hour news cycle produces next. I still haven't caught up on
I have some breaking news here. I now own a Bitcoin DGod. Just wanted to put that out there. You gotta disclose along the way. You gotta disclose. No, it is. Those are some great points, and Witters, you had some great points as well. It does seem like Frank, he is passionate about Bitcoin. He's like, oh, perfect. We had all these burn ones. Let's bring them over to Bitcoin. He obsessed about being like, DGod's #1 on Bitcoin. And then when it didn't happen and OMB kind of like dominated a bit and Taproot Wizards, it seemed like he checked out. I mean, he's a busy dude. He's like 22 years old. He's got a lot going on. I'm bullish on Frank just because like we're talking about him. Everyone's talking about him. He's a master marketer. I don't think he has to do much for the actual collection. Let the chain talk, that sort of thing. I actually don't own one. I was totally kidding. But yeah,
I believe on that.
What's that?
I said you'd be one of the few people if like you said that, I'd believe you. Like there's not many people that'd be like, oh yeah, I just bought one of these.
Yeah, no, my wallet's
Chris, you believe anything, bro.
I believe you, Billy.
My wallet's
He said I believe you, Billy. You believe anything, Chris.
Well, one thing I want to believe is that Frisk actually had a really good ninja video. I did have it pulled up.
You got it?
Yeah, I got
Wait,
it.
real quick,
Chris,
before we move on, like, does anyone remember like ZK Shark being like super big into DGods? Like, is that not
Yes.
too?
I remember that. Yeah, he had the blue one with like the white cut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I
He was
first
their
heard,
alpha lead for the longest time.
okay.
He was,
So he ran the OTC for the longest time, and did all the OTC, the D-Desk, everything,
Him and
like
Chartfu.
within there. Do what, Frisk?
Him and Chartfu both. They were
Yeah.
doing all across the Google Sheets. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess my point was like, I don't think Frank wanted to be #1 on Bitcoin. I don't think he expected ZK to just, whale out.
I think that ZK adopted it first, and then Frank had FOMO.
It is pretty funny when you put it in that light how that worked out. But yeah, they definitely went their separate ways. I do remember.
I think Bitcoin is big enough for everybody. There is so much ground to be captured here.
He's so diplomatic.
Well, don't think about it. Like this is a.
I
this
know,
is a time
right?
For everybody, this is a time for everybody to like take a deep breath, reinvent yourself, maybe commit to new ideas. I think it's great. A lot of the people who got their come up last cycle get to now hand off the baton to the newcomers, and yeah. So I'm going to be overly diplomatic on this. I'm bullish on everything.
Trevor's post today made me like rethink things. I think Frisk, you might have just gotten a new laptop as well. Maybe it's just into perspective. But it said that his post said the M3 MacBook Pro comes with an SSD to 8 terabytes. only 208 gigabytes of ordinals are possible to inscribe each year, meaning that there's 40x less than one person's maxed out MacBook Pro. So it's basically just talking about the scarcity of possible inscriptions. It's like, okay, that puts it in a very different perspective.
Yeah.
But I do
Well,
want
you said he was getting a MacBook. What was that about, Chris?
Did you? Are you not getting a lap? Did you just get a laptop, Frisk, or no?
I did actually. I'm glad you mentioned that. I just got a Mac.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I figured it was like fresh on his mind.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Trevor gave him a MacBook. I was about to say, what the hell?
Trevor, my DMs are open if you're ever down for it.
You made that video, man. You made that video. Speaking of the video, let's go and play it. And we're pretty much at time, but I obviously want, we can talk about the video afterwards. So Frisk didn't like. You said it was cringy. I loved it. I remember it. I went over every one of these videos several times. So I remember this one particularly. So let's give it a look.
名誉、貪欲。彼らはあなたが思っているよりも似ています。どちらも目がくらむほど。自分の満足のためにのみ奉仕する。両方があれば、運命が訪れる。私は名誉を主張するために、この道を冒険します。先祖の宝物を取り戻すために。私は正当に私のものを所有します。名誉。
Yeah. Let's go, man.
I thought it was great.
That's so good, Chris. I loved it. That was so perfect.
Thank you. I'm glad you guys like it. Sorry about the dogs in the background. Yeah, I have a background in film, which helps a lot when I make videos and stuff.
What do you use for the voice? Like, did you use a AI translator to do the voice?
Yeah, so I wrote the dialogue, and then I found an AI and got them to narrate it, and then I used a translator to use the subtitles. It was an interesting process, but I'm surprised it ended up working out.
Cool. Yeah, I was when I first heard it. It's so much bass in that voice too. I've used AI voices just using 11 Labs, I think is what I use, and it's hard to get that same level of sound quality.
So I altered the voice actually. I used the AI voice, and then I took the recording and I altered it through a pitch shifter, and just slowed it down, speed it up to match the music that I found as well too. It's a
film background if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, that's what I do. But yeah, it's fun, man. And I love getting the chance to do that. Even when when Udi was making everyone dress up as wizards and get in the shower, everyone had their own little take on how things operate, and it's always fun to watch. At the end of the day, and I know we're wrapping soon. I don't want to take too much time, but this is the thing I would love to ask any of you guys in regards to what gets you excited about the future of ordinals? Because I know for me, for the past few days, I've been talking to my show a lot about how I'm really bullish on two big things coming up in the near future. It's ordinal NFTs and it's ETH gaming NFTs. Those are the two that I have my eye on a lot. And at the end of the day, I'm looking for things that are fun, because that's what's going to attract people. It's what's going to bring them in. And so, what is it that you guys look forward to when you're seeing new developments for ordinals? What gets you excited? What gets you interested? If anyone wants to answer, if we're at time, I apologize, but I figured I would at least ask that maybe as a closer.
Well, just for me as an artist, I think that Bitcoin is the most luxurious, expensive canvas to put your art on. I'm not looking for developments. I don't think that is something that Bitcoin at its core is I don't feel like there needs to be a layer 2 or there needs to be smart contracts. I don't believe in that, just personally as an artist. And so if it just was stagnant from this moment on, and you could develop some things. I love, recursion and parent-child and everything that has pushed being able to get above that 4 gigabyte. So that is something that I'm interested in, but making it anything. So sorry, they're drag racing outside. If you heard that, but outside of that, I'm just excited to see what artists come to Bitcoin, and like I know of a few that are ramping up for 2024, and I think it's just gonna be exciting, and that whole, oh man, it's gonna be wild. So yeah, that's what I'm personally excited about.
I'm most excited for the future of rare sats. There's a lot of other things, but to me, rare sats are just getting started, and it's not necessarily because I think there's all these people coming in to buy the pizza sats or the uncommons. Although I'm very optimistic on both of those, it's actually on the discovery of new types of satoshis. Particularly, and I keep harping on this, in new notation schemes. I've got this puppy here. In new notation schemes, because a lot of people haven't really dove into the way these sats derive their rarity, and so I think we have several years ahead of us of discovering what I call one of one satoshis, truly unique sats, which are special for like very unique, probably mathematical reasons. And so I think there is a massive future for that type of new asset.
Charlie, your dog is adorable, by the way.
I know, that's what I was about to say. I saw it peep its head.
Oh, there's two. Oh my god. I didn't even see that.
Oh, there's two of
Yeah,
them.
so I wanted to prove that my other bigger dog was barking at the two foster puppies we have. So these are
Yo, screenshot
foster
this.
puppies. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Thank you, Charlie. Yeah, I don't know much about rare stats, so you're motivating me to want to go do my research.
I just took a screenshot of that. That's amazing. Yeah, I feel like, similar to Bitcoin, the invention of Bitcoin took things from like 0 to 100. You could probably use Bitcoin as it was for a long time, barring those couple bugs. I feel like Ordinals is the same way. Just the invention of the protocol is so massive. Like you can't undo that. It's here. But I'm most excited to see how Ordinals challenges the rest of the Bitcoin community to build and to see what comes out, because I think there's so much potential, and we're just kind of starting to see. I don't think it's a coincidence that Ordinals dropped. Casey was working on it last year. It dropped this year, and then we've seen just kind of like a snowball effect of other things like BitVM. People pushing drive chains, RGB, Lightning. It's just exciting to see the culture kind of develop around Bitcoin. But I really do feel like if we kind of keep progressing as we are, it's going to really solidify, if it hasn't already, its kind of place as, the chain for everything. I was filling out this interview thing today, and I totally forgot. Like, I was dropping NFTs on Ethereum for a couple years, and I got accepted on Super Rare just in January of this year. And I dropped a couple things, and then once Ordinals came out, I really haven't looked back, and that's super powerful, because I was, kind of building my artist profile on there for a bit, and that's just kind of how powerful this technology is. Like, I knew it immediately. Ordinals is the place to be. It's the future for me. Like, I wouldn't want to be building on anything other than Bitcoin. So I'm excited to see how that facilitates.
Ken, you got anything?
Oh, you sure you want me to go, Chris?
Yeah, I want to, bro.
You sure about that, bro?
When I do
You
mine,
sure about that?
include the space, yeah. Ken's an ETH max, by the way. So.
Oh yeah, when you nerds start making money, then I'll be bullish.
I mean, there's already been so many like 10 to 10,000 X's. I need to check your facts.
10,000 X's? Where at?
So if you minted Ordi if you minted 1,000 Ordi for $1.80 to $3, and then you have it today, it's worth over $20,000. So we can get GPT to do like $2 to $20,000, but it's a big
Okay.
Yeah, no, I feel like there's a lot of, Charlie, what were Bitcoin rocks? They were like 0.00. What was that screenshot of Nick from Luxor? He's like, people are paying 0.001. Are they out of their freaking mind?
I have an exactly identical screenshot because one of my first viral tweets about ordinals was me saying, apparently there is a ETH rock derivative going for 0.1 Bitcoin on inscriptions, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is like $2,000. That's insane. And here we are.
How much is it now?
There are very few public prices, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I think the floor, like the last paid price was around like 3 to 4 BTC. So if you take a 0.01 mint price or whatever it was, that's another 100x. Wait,
The floor right now is 4.8. The last sale was, I think, also 4.8 actually. So
yeah, we'll see. I mean, I have a rock. I don't think I could sell for that much, though.
You have a rock?
You think they watch
everything?
He has everything.
He said he had everything.
Nice.
This dude. You think it's wash trading, Charlie? Is that why you say you don't think you can sell it for that much, or just moving money around?
No, I'll probably leave my comments there. I think there's a lot of early inscriptions which will be worth that much someday. So
I did want to briefly touch on the Raresat market cap. There's someone in the audience, Tendy, who wanted me to talk about this a little bit more. But this was a post that BitGod reposted about some of these market caps. And I found this interesting because they seem quite high, like Block 9, 4.5 billion, Uncommon, 150 million. And I wanted to point out, after giving this some thought, these are like the total supplies, max total supply. And I compare it to gold. Like the market cap of gold doesn't include gold that's in the ground, that hasn't been mined. In order for these rare and special sats to be available, I think available supply is a more elusive number that we don't really have versus total supply, and I think this circulating supply, those are like the max mathematical total supplies. But if you actually, I'm sure we'll have tools soon to kind of calculate, like there's not that many block 9s that you can actually buy. So it's interesting to think about what the actual like available market cap would be. And if you use like on-chain data to see that 70% of Bitcoin hasn't moved in over a year, and then to see that like the Bitcoin on exchanges is less than 12%, even if you take a conservative 20% of these market caps and valuations, they're significantly lower. So I think that's kind of a really interesting way to look at these things, because those valuations, 4.5 billion, it can seem like a lot. But I know we're wrapping up, but I wanted you guys to give me, if you have any favorite inscriptions. I want to do like a quick little demo for.
Wait, there's only 12% of Bitcoin on exchanges?
Yeah. That's
lower than I thought.
Did they forget? Because I would love if they could just email me, their seed phrase to have access to that.
Wow, it is hard to find. It's hard to find comments.
Email me your seed phrase.
And that goes for anybody in the audience if you want to do that.
Anyway, I'm pretty sure I posted on there. You can find it, but yeah, it's insane. So I think obviously it's easy if demand really heats up, the supply is just not there. And the only thing that can move is the price, right? When the demand goes up for gold, people just mine more of it out of the ground, and the inflation rate goes up from 2% per year to a little bit higher. But yeah, if you guys have any favorite inscriptions, I'd love
I have
to
one.
hit me.
Can you inscribe your seed phrase, Billy?
Do pizza stats. Do pizza stats. Are you talking about specific inscription?
Black sats.
Yeah, any inscription ID. That's kind of the fun of it. So I would just plug it into this system, and we'll create some generative.
Oh, I see what
yeah,
you
yeah.
Oh, really?
Hold on.
Yeah, so I yeah, it's this project right here. It's kind of in progress. I'm working with Ordinals bot on the kind of spin up mint page. It's kind of like inscribe on demand. But yeah, if you guys
that's pretty
let's
dope.
take this kind of Pepe patch here, and we'll just paste it in here, run it.
I don't have an inscription ID for Noulish's pieces, but I love everything that Noulish does.
Yeah, the one thing is it only is going to work with image files, or actually.
All right, Billy, I think I'm ready.
So that's what that looks like. So yeah, it's a way of like putting data on Bitcoin without putting data on Bitcoin. I think it's pretty fun, and I want to make it super inclusive, affordable, and just kind of get back to art on Bitcoin and having fun through recursion.
I just gave you my well ID.
I see it. Oh
my God, Chris.
Okay.
What? It's my Bitcoin well. I like my Bitcoin well.
I think it looks dope.
Ooh.
Thanks. It's even got a mini well. It's
So,
like
so essentially, these are 2,000 pixels by 2,000 pixels, kind of fully responsive. You can just kind of right click, save to the desktop. Save to the desktop. Where'd it go? I don't know. It's bugging out. Anyone else have an inscription? Drop it in the chat. It will pull it up. Oh, there it goes. My computer's can't handle. So yeah, you can kind of worked it together. So when you download it, it's just kind of like this nice piece of art. Simple, minimal, just like Bitcoin, but super powerful. Each inscription is about like 0.2 kilobytes. So I think it's going to be very efficient. And
Lord, yeah. God, if I could get down to 0.2 kilobytes, I'd be cooking.
yeah.
Are you using RS, or is it like RSV or SVG? I think that's, is that how you're doing it?
It's not SVG. So basically the HTML file is what you would inscribe here. So you can see it's super tiny. It's one line of code. And then the JavaScript is essentially 300 lines of code, and it's pulling in the inscription ID as the seed, and that's how it's randomizing. And I've kind of workshopped this to my liking. And the goal has been to essentially, whoops. Here, let's find some other, let's go for largest inscriptions here. Oh yeah, Taproot Wizards. Pull this in here. Go to run, start debugging. That's what Taproot Wizards looks like. Pull up Julian Assange here.
Julian Assange.
So basically for a long time now, I've kind of been just plugging in seeds and kind of making sure they all look cool. But you know, it's up to people if they want to inscribe them. They can, the website will pop up and they can, you know, they can see what it looks like. And then if they choose to inscribe, you know, they can do so. I'm going to put up some of my rare sats to inscribe on for free. I'm thinking about maybe capping the collection at 999 and inscribing them all on block 999s that I found. So I don't think anyone's really done that meta. Maybe
That's
we'll
cool.
get front ran on the show. But yeah, just a little demo there.
Heck yeah, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for sharing. That's awesome. I think it's really cool that it breaks it apart. I like what you said about it being like Bitcoin, simple and artistic. Well, guys, I guess I'll go ahead and say my thing with ordinals to conclude. It's kind of obvious, but
What do you ask you, Chris?
everybody
Nobody asked you at all.
literally everybody asked. It's the permanence of ordinals, of Bitcoin ordinals. Obviously, you know, like the fact that like I'm a dad, so like my kids are gonna like be there to experience it, and then their kids and their kids and their kids. It's like it's on Bitcoin. It's more permanent than any other storage. Just had the IPFS debate like last week, and so there's that aspect. And I like the storage of value, like within a storage of value. It's kind of like you already have Bitcoin, but then you have this like single Satoshi that you can also like do like sub community things and either be artistic with or like do cool things with, maybe like whatever. So that's really cool too. We saw that on ETH, you know, as well with like NFTs last cycle. Those two things. And the third would be Ninja Alerts. That brings you this show that you can still get that top 1,000 allow list. Go to the ninjaalerts.com/ordinals. Go to the ordinal section. Well, you'll be there after you do the link, and it's going to give you the steps. You literally just connect your Xverse, go through the quest, and you'll be good to go. Be able to get on that top 1,000 to be able to get your chance to mint, like some of the people that I already discussed up here. Again, Billy got top 12 in like one day, and you have actually don't know how long you have, but there's still plenty of time to do it. I would probably get to it fast, and you have that time, so I would go do that. It was so great to have you, Frisk. Loved your input, loved your videos. I have to connect with you again. You're always welcome back to come hang out with us, talk some ordinals. Witters, Billy, Charlie, always so great to have you guys. So much knowledge with you guys. And with all that being said, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys